We are back, and we're back to talk about Batman. We're talking about Red Goblin. We're talking about Marvel and DC. And will these comics make good movies? Find out what we have in store right now. All right, everybody, we are back with another episode. I believe this is either 18 or 19, so we're really moving along. Again, we have not just five, but we have six this time because I have a one and two of one issue in the back there. But we're going to start out with Batman. But before we do, make sure you give me a like and subscribe if you can. And comment when if you're collecting any of these or how you feel about the stories that are going on. And I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I am an award-winning screenwriter and working line producer, formerly of Hollywood and now in Atlanta, waiting for all of the strikes to end and get back to work. All right, so again, let's talk about Batman. This is by Chip Zdarsky. This is number 4 of the Gotham War. The storyline is that after the night terrors thing, Batman gets out of a coma and comes back to Gotham to find out that there is no more crime, according to Catwoman, who has escaped from prison, taking other inmates with her that are super. So she's a escaped convict. Why anybody's not taking her back to jail is really beyond me. But that's basically the storyline here. So she has now recruited all of these people from the Riddler, the Joker, all their henchmen, and taught them how to be Robin Hood. Instead of giving it to the poor, they're giving it to themselves. So they are robbing from the rich, giving to themselves, but there's no crime. Nope, so there's no crime where people are getting killed. There's no violent crime anymore. So according to our Catwoman, there's no crime. So what if there's burglaries happen all over Gotham? That's not crime. That's not crime. And then she pitches this to the Bat family, and you know what? Nightwing says, hell yeah, you're right. Tim Drake says, hell yeah, you're right. Red Hood says, give me somebody to kill. And Damian's like, I'm dead, I'm with you. And Batman's like, this is still crime, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's still crime. And they're like, no, look at it. You're going over the edge, man. You're going over the edge. We got to stop you from stopping crime. So remember how we talked about in the last episode with Power Girl that there are two types of writers. Writers that stick to the character and then build a story around that. And then there are writers that build a story and then shove the characters into it, whether it fits or not. Well, that's Chip Zdarsky and Tini Howard right now. They got this story. Wouldn't it be cool if, Catwoman was like ruling Gotham and she stopped all of crime except for the crime? And so they are beating the hell out of Batman and the surrounding supporting characters to smash them into this story. And it is just not working. I mean, this is the biggest piece of shit that I've ever seen. And if you guys are collecting this and you're not laughing at it, I'm surprised. So we have an additional villain in this, which is Vandal Savage, who is immortal. So we start out with him talking to Ra's al Ghul because I guess he found a meteor that was the essence of the Lazarus Pit, and that's what created the Lazarus Pit was this meteor. But he's immortal. He doesn't need the actual goo. But now I guess it's wearing off of him, so he's slowly starting to age now. And one of Catwoman's underlings is actually Scandal Savage, which is his daughter. So he's infiltrated Catwoman's thing with his daughter. So after that scene, and also Vandal Savage is now the owner of Wayne Manor, by the way, because we had to, stick it to Batman one more time. So we move on then to Dick trying to go into the Batbox and dismantle it, turn it off, so that Batman has no more communication with anything anymore. And he's reciting some kind of a vow, kind of like a Green Lantern vow, which was really kind of stupid. And that unlocks this box. And as he's trying to turn it off, Batman shows up, and they fight. And Damian, actually, I think Damian shows up first. But before that, let's destroy Batman's character even further and then add more bullshit to this story. So he captures Red Hood. All right? So Batman captures Jason Todd and gives him something in his brain or something that it's almost like a chip from Clockwork Orange, where if he starts to try to do anything bad or violent, then it makes him have an anxiety attack. First of all, Batman would never do that, because in Crisis, we find out that Zatanna was wiped people's minds to make them forget some stuff that happened with Elongated Man's wife and stuff to that effect. And Batman was majorly pissed that you took away free will. All right? And I can see that kind of fit Batman's character. Now here we have freaking Chip Zdarsky that says, nah, Batman will definitely take away people's will. He would. I swear he would. Forget anything that happened in the past. Forget anything that's written. Forget anything that's canon. This is what Batman would do. So, no, he wouldn't. He would not take away people's will. Plus, if he had this kind of capability, he would have given it to the Joker and to Riddler and everybody else long ago. And he didn't. It's all bull. So anyway, Damian shows up to stop him from doing the Batbox thing, and then he calls in Tim so he can continue doing that, and then he and Tim can fight. And meanwhile, Catwoman shows up to, because she found out that Batman kidnapped Jason, so she's going to go intervene, and Batman continues to kick Dick's ass, as well he should. But in the meantime, I guess they go like tit for tat, and Tim Drake stops Damian and handcuffs him to some kind of a pillar, and which I don't think would happen, but and then Tim confronts Batman. You're going too far, man. You're going too far. We got to stop you. Oh my God, this is so bad. So bad. And then Batman kicks Tim Drake's ass too, but then Dick comes in with another punch, and he's beating Batman's butt, and Batman then captures all of them in a net, and he realizes that he can't let the cops have them, so he throws a batarang to let them cut the net. And then Scandal finds Jason and basically rescues him, and finds out that, yeah, he's all messed up now, even more than he was. And, yeah, it's just, I mean, the artwork is decent. I mean, this is a really nice page. And Catwoman's like, yeah, we need to talk. Yeah, Batman would be like, yeah, we're going to talk about you going back to prison. That's what we're going to talk about. And then we get really this stupid ass panel. Look at that. Look at them with their heads in the air, or their chins up in the air. Scandal and Vandal. And, you know, it's like it's a villain hero pose, whatever. This is, I'm not even going to talk about even being a movie or a TV show, because this is complete garbage. Now, the idea of having Catwoman versus Batman for, control over something, part of Gotham, where they have a disagreement, it would just be like the Riddler versus Batman. But she has not a leg to stand on here. It's crime. She hasn't stopped crime. And if you read the other books surrounding it, I just read Nightwing, and Heartless just killed someone. And that's still in continuity. So violent crime has not changed. So, and violent crime, having that diminished and having burglaries increase is still crime. This is such crap. And then changing their, supporting characters to go against him. Never in a million years. Never. Such crap. I can't wait for this to be over. I'm going to stop as soon as I think this is part 4, and I think it goes to 8. And so I have like one more month, and then I'm stopping Catwoman. I'm stopping Batman. I'm just going to throw it. I'm stopping collecting it all. All right, so let me talk about Red Goblin. So this is the story of Normie Osborn, the son of Harry Osborn, and the grandson of Norman Osborn, who was the Green Goblin. And the symbiote that is called Rascal is now basically is going sifting through his memories and finding all the people that have bullied him or hurt him, and it's basically going on one big revenge mission. And uh, and Norman's kind of lost control completely. But now Norman has now become the Gold Goblin instead of the Green Goblin, and he is hot on the trail by interviewing people, by hanging them off buildings. It's a very harrowing interview. But here's the scene of them going, the Rascal going, sifting through his memories and things to that effect. And then he realizes that Harry dying and the stuff that led up to his death, or the time they spent together, had hurt him or whatever, inflicted some kind of sadness upon Normie. So he decides the symbiote decides that he's going to go grave rob. So he digs inside Harry Osborn's grave, and is about to like crush the bones when Norman shows up and says, "Leave my son alone." And he does some kind of sonic boom to it, and the symbiote's kind of semi removing itself from Normie, but that doesn't last. And he proceeds to kick the crap out of poor Norman Osborn, which I don't think I would ever say. But he does. He's kicking the crap out of him. And finally he talks Normie talks Rascal out of killing his grandfather. So he wraps the golden glider there, or whatever you want to call it, in the symbiote itself, and he zooms away, and he's going to go after Venom, which I think Venom is Dylan Brock in this one. And so we have Venom, and there's a lead up into him attacking Venom in the next book. So this, if we did some kind of a Venom thing, like I was saying, this could be like a more Miles Morales. If we had a Miles Morales movie, like we did in Spider-Verse, and having this character in it would work. But now even bringing it into Venom, that would be kind of cool too, because he'd have to go fight a kid. That's interesting. We'll see how this goes. It's on number 9 already. I don't know if it's going to go to 12 and stop, but it's kind of dragging. It is kind of dragging. I do like it, but it's becoming one note. So I don't know how long they're going to go with it, but putting Venom into it is a good idea. All right, moving on to we're going into our independents now. So we had DC, we had Marvel, and now we're going to go into Skybound, who's just recently got they got the Energon universe. So Transformers, it connects to Void Rivals, and also to G.I. Joe. So people have been raving and raving about this book. It's Daniel Warren Johnson who writes and does the art. The art is a little bit too fluctuating for me. It's inconsistent. But I have never really been a big Transformers fan, so I'm not in that boat where I thought this was the best thing ever. But there are a lot of people that do think this is the best thing ever. And I'm more of a G.I. Joe fan, so I'm hoping that we get some good stuff there. But this is kind of an oversized number 1 issue. So we start out with, of course, the human side. We have the humans that we have to introduce first. And they go to this rock climbing thing, and they fall through it because of some kind of an earthquake, and they just happen to be there at the right time, of course. So They drop down into a ship. Now look at that. Look at the little tube there. And how did they get down? Look how high up they are. If they try to jump down, they'd die. But somehow they get down and they find all the fallen Autobots, but the Autobots are actually mixed with Starscream and some of the others that are Decepticons. So Jetfire, who we found in Void Rivals, who was basically under a bunch of rubble, goes back to Earth, and here's where we have a problem, right? So according to this story, Jetfire knows nothing about what happened in Cybertron. He knows nothing about the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots. But yet he knew to go to Earth? I have a problem with that. I don't understand how that would work. So he finds Starscream, and he, I guess he starts up this thing that is repairing them one at a time. And so it's like a machine that he starts up. And Starscream is the first one he rejuvenates. And Starscream immediately blows a hole in him. He's like, "Hey, you're my friend." "Oh, shoot, there's a hole in me. What's going on? Why are you blowing the holes, man? Why you do?" And then Optimus is the next one to come up, and he clotheslines him, and then he does another move on him, another wrestling move. So Starscream's on his back there, and there's a whole bunch of lasers going on, and Ratchet kicks him in the head, and we have this whole fight going on, and then he sees his blaster on the ground, so he's running towards it. And here's the weird part, right? Oh, and then Starscream blasts Bumblebee in the face. So Bumblebee has no face right now. He's still out. So he wants to save Bumblebee. And here, let me show this to you. Okay, you see this panel down here? He's reaching for his gun. And look how small the people are pushing the gun. They're not that small. You know, and anything I've ever seen, they come up to at least the knees. Whose gun is bigger than that? They look like Lilliputians in here. I don't understand that. So I think that's all off. We get some nice, Transformers explosions straight out of the movie script. Then we go to a side panel, and he takes the wounded, and they're trying to escape. And of course, we have the Jetfire. Well, not Jetfire. I forgot what the name, laser something, and Starscream are following them in the planes, or as the planes, I should say. Meanwhile, Starscream is starting to cause more and more damage, and he actually takes a human being and squishes him and laughs. Okay, so that's Transformers #1 in a nutshell. So we have Lilliputian humans. We have Jetfire, who couldn't even possibly know where the hell they even were. We have the humans that just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and should have died getting out of those tubes. But yeah, whatever. So I don't know. I kind of liked the last Transformers movie, even though it had some problems. I don't know. I just think this is an average Transformers story. It's just full of action. It's Michael Bay all the way, baby. Michael Bay all the way. So it's nothing special to me. I'm not even going to be continuing, and I'm going to stick with G.I. Joe. So I don't know. I don't really see this as anything special. I don't really see this one as a movie. So we'll see what happens with everybody else saying how great it is, but but not me. All right, so we'll move into the Rocketeer and the Den of Thieves #3. So Peavy if you've seen the movie by Disney, when Disney actually started to do some good films, the rocket was found by Cliff Secord, and PV is he's a pilot, and PV is his mechanic. So they've been upgrading the jetpack and stuff like that. But Hitler has his own people because this all takes place during World War II. So it was before the United States has entered the war. So they need a mechanic for their jetpacks to upgrade their jetpacks. So I guess their Rocketeers, the Nazi Rocketeers, somehow go from Germany to the United States on their jetpacks. I don't know how any of that worked. And they capture PV and take him back to Germany. So now Cliff has to, even though he told Betty, not Jenny like in the movie, it's Betty Page, that he's not going to wear the jetpack anymore. Now he has to go save PV, but she is going to come with him. But she is going to come with him dressed as the Nine. She's going to be going into Germany with high heel shoes. Whose idea was that? That's stupid. That is stupid. So he calls the government, of which he saved the world at one time or another. So he has a direct line to the president kind of thing. So, but he has these British guys. He meets up with them because I guess Britain had already entered the war before we have, so they were going to make a run anyway. So they pick him and Betty up and fly to Germany. And we get this. The coloring on this actually is pretty nice. So they're getting the plane. They're going to Germany. At least he didn't decide he was going to take the jetpack, carrying her all the way to Germany. But they do get off the plane with the jetpack and her with her high heel shoes. It's a nice panel, though. Nice little splash page. So they land, and of course she's walking in the high heels. I can't get over the high heel shoe thing. That's the stupidest idea ever. So they decide to split up. So she's going to go and rescue PV, and he's going to keep all of the Nazis, following him. He's going to distract them with himself. And it's probably a million bullets flying at him. I can't imagine him evading every single one. So she very easily, apparently, finds PV without any other guards around. And she gets a gun to the back of the head. So she decides that it ends up being this kind of female Nazi, kind of like from Indiana Jones. And she goes, yeah, let's just mano a mano it. And they decide they're just going to battle. Okay. So they fight. Oh, and then she tosses her across the room. Go Betty Page. And she's all impressed with her. Wow, she did. She was a good fighter. And she leaves with PV. And Rocketeer is still evading bullets like a master. And then as they're trying to meet up together, he's confronted with the Nazi Rocketeers. So you can see them on the bottom there. So I like the idea, but boy, this would not. People would be laughing at this, with the high heel shoe thing, and the fact that that she found PV just by walking around clacketing, and then the Nazi girl just puts her gun away and they're going to fight. Yeah, the script would need to be changed. But I like the idea of PV getting taken, and that would have to be changed too about how. And having the Nazi Rocketeers, I think that's a good idea. I'm waiting to see how with this action scene wraps up between him and them. This should be pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to go into my Kickstarter. So I got Trigger Girl 6, number 1 and number 2. So we're going to go through both of them quickly. And this was, as I said, it was a Kickstarter, so I had no idea what to expect. It was by Jimmy Palmiotti. So this is, like I said, I had nothing to do. I had no idea what to expect. But the first issue I did not like at all. So it's about grown in a test tube type of person. So it's like a DNA creation, chromosomal creation. And they mixed her DNA with animal DNA, so she's able to talk to animals. I'm not talking like telepathically. She can physically yak at them, and they yak back, and they can understand one another. What? It's really stupid, really stupid. So we start out with her going undercover in this wig and stuff like that because they're auctioning off a dolphin that they're going to eat. And the dolphin, of course, is unaware of this. How do we know? Because the dolphin says, I'm unaware of this. So she dives into the tank and proceeds to talk to the dolphin. Okay. But so she ends up getting wounded, and the whole thing, the whole tank explodes, the whole bit, because she pukes on it, and so I guess she has some venomous puke. But then she gets a little Bacta tank for the Star Wars fans to heal up, and we find out this is where she talks to the bear. And the bear says, can you scratch my back there? So I feel like I'm in Brer Bear and Brer Rabbit here. It's the bare necessities. That's how I felt reading this thing. But then we see these villains. So we have the man. So they're very, very rich. They live on an island. And the man confronted a lion because he was a hunter. And the lion ripped like everything off him, like all of his limbs. So he can't even talk. He can't move. He has to have somebody feed him, the whole bit. And the wife is feeling kind of lonely, but I guess she's also a fighter. We have to see that she could fight. So she takes on all these guys because she's bored. And, yep, we're still talking to animals. So we find her handler, and she's attracted to her handler. And they take her to like a safe house, and she's still trying to learn how to be a regular person because she has no experiences because she's basically like 2 years old. And so we find out that there's an assassin that's hired to go kill her, and the whole bit. And that's the end of that. So, yeesh. This was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I just can't get a handle on the fact that we have somebody that can talk to animals physically. Okay, so then we get into the second one. The second one's better because, when you look at this cover, what do you see? I mean, you see an assassin. I thought that's what I was getting. I thought I was getting an assassin book, but we didn't. It's definitely not. And so we continue the next issue directly after the first. So she asked him to go out to dinner with her, the whole bit. But she ends up getting, as she's driving around, she meets this old man that has a dog. She physically talks to the dog, and the guy is waiting at the diner for her. Now, why he didn't pick her up, being the handler, is beyond me. But anyway, so the assassin goes after her, but she's at the cabin of the old man. So instead, the dog is wounded and the old man is killed. And her handler drives through the cabin completely and kills the assassin. And so they find a dead guy, and she's all upset now. And the dog is wounded, so he actually loses an eye. So he has a patch. The dog has a patch on his eye. It's like that. So anyway, so she's like, I'm going to go and find out who killed these people. I have to make revenge on this guy, for this guy. And she finds out that it's actually the people on that island that we met in the last issue, the guy who's a quadriplegic. But meanwhile, she tells the guy that, I'm attracted to you, so let's go have sex. Of course. And so we have to have a little nudity in there. And then we get to, she's the wife of the quadriplegic, he tells her that we're going to divorce because you're having sex with the help. And she's like, yeah, hell no. And she throws him in the pool for him to drown. And she tells the butler not to go in and save him. So meanwhile, Trigger Girl goes in there and throws the body back out of the pool. And there's a whole bunch of assassins coming that the woman has called. And the lights go out, and the handler is handling all of them. And she turns out all the lights on the whole island, apparently. She's like an EMP burst. So she is now hunting the wife, who put out the hit that killed the man and then wounded the dog. So she gets one good slice in there, and she's like, "Oh, you're bleeding. I can taste your blood on my blade." And that's about the only shot she gets because she slits her throat, and that's the end of that. And that's the end of that battle. And then they go on vacation. So yeah, and she says, "Oh, I wish the stars were closer." So they go into this cave, and of course it's all sparkly, and they're like, "Oh, look, the stars are closer." All right. So and then they have sex in the tent, and that's the end. So yeah, that's True Girl 6, issues 1 and 2 in less than 10 minutes. So yeah. Would that make a good film or television show? No. The fact that she could talk to animals, it's like Dr. Dolittle, man. It's a comedy. It's not meant to be serious. Jimmy, what are you doing, man? So I know that she wanted to be like an activist, like an animal activist. I guess that's his way of trying to do it, but it just didn't work. Just didn't work. Okay, so going recap. Trigger Girl 1 and 2. Rocketeer. I would love to see the Rocketeer movie, and this is a good idea, but it needs a rewrite. It needs a rewrite if you're going to try to put that in the film. There's just too many stupid pieces. Transformers. No, this story so far is just too generic. There's just nothing going on. Red Goblin. I like bringing Venom into this. I think that a Venom story with a symbiote with a kid in it is a really good idea. And then bringing Green Goblin into it as well, if Norman was still evil, I think that would be really cool. Yeah. And I don't know if Disney can do that. But, well, Disney and Fox, they can probably make a deal, man. I don't know. But I think Fox owns all this. So I don't know. And then Batman, the biggest piece of shit ever. Yes, please throw that in the garbage. It's complete garbage. I don't know. That's it for me, and thank you again so much for watching. I know this was more of a longer one because I went on a tangent there and a tirade with Batman far longer than I should have. But remember to like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching and help me build a channel. Give me a thumbs up, give me a middle finger, whatever turns you on there. And let me pitch my own stuff real quick. I'll get to that one in a second, but my new fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. This has a new magic system. It's got different cultures. They're all on one continent in one kingdom, and they all, represent different, cultures of gods and stuff like that. So you got Egyptian, you got Asian, you got Greek, and all this other stuff. So, and we have the impending invasion by the Iron Witch. Fun stuff. And then my other comics, which you can all get on DestinyAurora.net, which is down the bottom here, or on Amazon. But we have Destiny Aurora. This is my 4-novel series. It's an adaptation of the first novel. There's also an RPG and miniatures board game. So we have plenty of space battle and androids and aliens and all that stuff. So, and we have a pretty big twist in there, which most people do not see coming. And Lords of LA, my vampire mob in the 1950s. And I did work on the Kickstarter today for quite a bit. I think I got a lot done. I have a lot more still to do, but I feel like I did take a big chunk out of it. But this is, I have issue 2 going to be coming out here shortly. And this is issue 1's 48 pages long, so it's kind of a double issue. But that's it for me. Again, thank you all for watching, and you have an awesome day, and check out my other videos that are going to pop up right now.